industry for a few decades, apparently. So, yeah, he's a man of a lot of experience in this field. And we have our second panel, Mr. Jovian Lee.
Oh,
So he's a
hi.
former, hi, Mr. Jovian.
Hi.
He is a former copywriter and creative group head of Burnett and also Naga DDB in Malaysia. So, and he has been in this industry, advertising industry, for a few decades too, just like Mr. Seelan Paul. And he has also won a lot of awards also for his work. And we have the third panel, Mr. Alif Aizad. Hi, Alif. So, Mr. Alif is the founder of Levitate Venture. It's a public relations and branding consultancy company. So he's been working a lot on event PR consultancy projects and also for healthcare context as well. Okay, so as the media and communication field is very common in all parts of the world. That includes Malaysia. So we have marketing, advertising, broadcasting, films, public relations, strategic communication, digital com. They are all applicable in various fields, various industries, including oil and gas and healthcare as well. You commonly communication practitioners use media to deliver messages or information in general. And in this digital age, digital media, including social media or mobile application, including AI generated or assisted digital media, are utilized to fulfill this message delivery purpose. So sometimes you want to reach out to a company, like say airlines, so you just go to their social media and they have their AI generated bots to reply your messages and assist you with anything that you need. So that's one of it. These messages delivered with the purpose of changing audience attitude of or behavior, like how you watch advertisements and this advertisement content make you go and buy something that they have advertised, for example. Um, so for many years, media has been known to have big influence on human life. So for this, I would actually like to throw the first question to Mr. Jovian here. So Mr. Jovian, you dealt a lot with the crafting of messages in advertisements. Yeah, I can say your whole life. And yes, you are the best in the industry, so we can call it otai in the industry, right? In what way the messages in the advertisements influence people's decision making or their lifestyle? This is what you do through advertisements. And do they actually really work? I mean, in making people to buy the advertised products or services, for example. Yeah.
Oh, okay. To begin with, I don't think I've ever done something that when people saw the ad, they actually ran out and to buy the whatever, except for maybe nanu sweets lah.
Ah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that maybe for sweets and kids, but for medical and health related products, people don't run out like that and buy lah. So the ones that I've worked on have largely been one is Propecia for hair regrowth, that's health related, and largely a lot of milks, health related milks. So okay, it's easier if I show an example of what I mean lah, because if I cakap, it will be quite difficult for you all to figure out. Okay, I'll show you all
Yeah,
very
go ahead.
quickly. So say for example, in the year 2000, terrible health crisis happened, healthcare crisis, the dioxin crisis. It was sort of like, you know, melamine in infant formulas in China. Remember when that happened in China? They had put melamine into infant formulas. So the dioxin was similar, except that it was in the food chain. So it was a largely European crisis, but it affected all clients that our milk clients that they were Western oriented brands. So what they needed was to reassure people about the safety of their milks. So the normal thing is to run off one of this kind of pengumuman kind of ads, you see. But what we did was quite different. And we also didn't want to do the very, very medical sounding ones. So what we did was none of the scary medical stuff, because when you do scary medical stuff, the image transfers to your brand as well. So what we did was quite different. So while the people didn't go out and rush and buy the thing, the brand was called is what is called S26 today. In those days, it was called YF lah. So now it's been rebranded as S26 Milk. So mothers love the communications so much, they actually asked for copies of it because they wanted to put the pieces of communication in their nursery and around the house. And then it won AdFest Gold, which is an advertising award show. So during the advertising award show, a few of the AdFest judges, upon seeing the posters, were moved enough to phone their kids immediately. So that was observed by the late Yasmin Ahmad. So what was the communication like? This is what it looks like. So it was a campaign of posters. So a hug at 5 can still be felt at 50. It wasn't expensive because this were just posters. And then here's another one. So it's based on, this is the headline from the people who started Expiry Dates, a word about unending health. Because when health crisis like this dioxin crisis happens, mothers need assurance. So what we used was warm photos of babies and all that. And we juxtapose it with achievements by Wyeth or S26. As a company, what Wyeth did was they invented the bifurcated needle, which eradicated smallpox from planet Earth. They were also the very first to introduce expiry dates. So hence this line from the people who started Expiry Dates, a word about an unending love. And they were also the people who incorporated beta carotene into their milks. So it became a message of not scaring people about dioxins, but about a reassurance about, let's say, the fact that they have beta carotene in their milks, which boosts the baby's immunity. And at the same time, it's a message on to hug your babies more often, because that also helps boost a child's immunity. So that's an example of what works lah. So this is the actual pictures of the posters in Subang Jaya Medical Center. And when mothers saw these, they actually asked the doctors if they could have copies of the posters to put in their nursery. So what S26 did was they happily obliged and printed additional copies for distribution to moms. Okay. Did I answer the question adequately?
Yeah, sort of. But I wanna you've been doing a lot of those the commercials for Petronas, for example. So yes, in a way, it's not directly advertising the products. It's just to create to boost their reputation that they're this big, they're this good. So in a way, people get people trust the brand itself. So and then I mean, it's not a directly influence people to use Petronas product, but they actually trust Petronas brand in the end. Am I right? Do you get like good?
Okay, this is how Yasmin described it lah. Because Yasmin started the Petronas campaign, and her observation was that she's been observing Petronas long before Petronas, before she actually proposed the Petronas campaign. So what she observed was people were seeing Petronas as a Melayu company. So she's always admired Petronas for being a well-run company. So she felt that Petronas deserves more than that. And she's observed that that Malaysians actually are very nice people. And what she did was one day she went to Petronas while she was being briefed on a brochure. and a press ad. And she asked Petronas, you all are such a good company, and Malaysia needs a champion of good Malaysian values of friendship, of love, of filial piety, of forgiveness. And she asked them, just offhand like that, we can't really trust politicians to champion good values because politicians are busy being politicians. Would you, Petronas, be keen on championing these things? So she gave them, like, off the top of her head, examples of what they can do for TV commercials. So bear in mind, this was in the early 1990s when nobody did
Yes.
those kind of touchy-feely
Yes.
commercials. So she basically started it. She was the pioneer of it. And how she did it after it was established was that she opens the scripting to everybody in the office. So you could be a secretary or traffic controller or finance guy. She will gather everybody in an office, sit them down in her room, and then she'll ask them, tell me stories about Merdeka, tell me stories about Chinese New Year. And then she'll choose about 10. Then the next day she'll drag all of them, all 10, to Petronas to tell them the story. She would forbid the use of storyboards. What she wants is for you to go and tell your story, and then the clients will listen to the story. And what happens is when you listen to a story, the storyboard actually happens inside people's heads. Versus, let's say, if you were to show a storyboard, clients will be pointing fingers at, like, why is this woman's nose so big? Why is her hair so long? So it'll be on unnecessary stuff. But when you tell a story, people's minds work. The storyboard is inside their head, and if it touches them, they like it, and then they can sell it to their bosses easier as well because they've internalized the story. So
Yes.
that's how
Yeah. It
Petronas
gets into
works.
the imagination.
Yeah. So it's not
Mm.
about storyboards or whatever. It's about touching people's feelings. So which is what this case of dioxin scare as well is about, touching people's hearts about their kids. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jovian. Yeah. That answers the question. Like, from this, the content, the way the story is told, in the messages, through the messages. So, we can see that it touched people's feelings. So it moves people. It changed people's attitude. So it moves people's attitude, or opinion, or perception about Petronas, or about the milk, S26 Wyeth. So this is what the messages or the content or the way you craft the content, that's how it affect people actually. And like you mentioned just now earlier, the Petronas people, they got affected, they like the story, not from the story, but by hearing the story. So the way you send the message to them, the way you deliver the story to them.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
that's how you
one
move the
point was very
audience. Yeah.
important. Yasmin will always insist that we tell the stories that we tell her are real stories. When you're making something up, she can tell, and then she will tell us, this is obviously not a real story. So most of the Petronas stories, you will notice, are actual real human stories. So which is why they are so real, you see, versus like having something that is you pluck something from the air. So
Yes. Yeah.
when the people that let's say we bring the secretaries along, when they share the story, it's their real story, and it moves them to tears, you see.
Yeah, because people can connect with the story because
People,
they've probably been there as well. Yeah.
yeah. And Yasmin doesn't mind that if you can't speak proper English or you can't speak proper BM, you present from the heart, people understand immediately.
So, so it's about the message delivery, whether people gets it or not. That's the most important part.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she does.
Okay.
It's not about a message in particular. She always says it's like, if I want to send you a message, I'll send you an SMS. Because what's important is what you feel when you watch it.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jovian, for the insight. So that's a nice story about Yasmin. A lot of people in the media industry know Yasmin. I'm not sure about the young people nowadays, but she's a really good um, uh, a really good example in for advertising industry. So, Mr. Seelan Paul, how are you tonight?
I'm good. Enjoying the story by Jovian. Thank you, Dr. Rabiah.
Yeah. No, it's a good story. So you have been working in the broadcasting industry with television, radio networks for many, many years here in Malaysia. And you also dealt with advertising and the content of the programs, like the content in the TV and radio itself, which also included news, dramas, and others, all these other contents. So how do messages or the content in media, such as in radio, television, they influence public's behavior, decision making, or lifestyle? So there were times where people were crazy watching dramas or listening to or watching news, listening to radio news on the radio, and it changed people's behavior because of this content. So how do this content actually influence people's behavior or decision making?
Okay. Firstly, thank you very much, Dr. Rabiah, for having me in this live talk with IMU together with Alif and Jovian. I think Jovian set a really good tone for our talk today because I think the art of storytelling is super important in basically engaging or talking to our audience at different platforms. So for me, media now, it could be the traditional media or the social media and such. And it plays a huge part because it's a primary source of information or content for our audience. And if this content is done right, it can really shape public's understanding and awareness of issues and information. Even just like whatever Jovian shared with regards to S26, that particular content framing itself can influence perception and opinions of audience. Apart from that, I think what media tends to do is it sets and reinforces social norms. It influences a lot of behavior. A good example would be things like entertainment content and such, where it can basically influence a certain generation watching certain type of content. Like if you if you take a few years back, which the current generation might not know, it's like Passport Sinar Kegemilangan. So that was a huge content done by TV3. So it's quite influential in that sense at that particular time in terms of social norms and trends. And over time, I think we had Academy Fantasia, and then we had Gagal Vaganza. So we will have different type of entertainment content that basically creates a storm in the entertainment industry. And now you could see multiple content from multiple people on platforms such as TikTok. So all these basically influences people and in that sense. And the other thing that media has is the power in terms of focusing on certain topics which are important, and this is by frequency or prominence. So it will drive public's attention on deciding what is important. And sometimes with targeted messaging, for instance, what Jovian did with parents, and if it's repeated, it's given enough exposure, it can actually persuade and shape opinions of the target audience in terms of choosing products or even such thing as policies. The beauty about storytelling is it evokes emotions, things like fear, hope, and like how our late Yasmin has done is to create that feeling of love for the country through the Merdeka content and such. So those kind of things, like I would say, things like positive story is quite key. Also can change behavior in terms of impacting audience. Even the recent Olympic will be a very good example in terms of content. And when Malaysia is in the final, it changes the happiness index of the whole country, you
Yes.
know. And when Dato Azizul was disqualified, we can feel the emotion not just from him, but throughout the whole country by all of us who are watching that particular content. I think content or message that is communicated on media is super powerful because it can also
That's true.
sway public opinion, whether it's to sway in terms of policies, in terms of politics, you know, it
Yes,
plays a
that's
big
true.
part. But predominantly, it used to be pretty much only traditional media. But now, you know, you got everybody playing their part on social media, whether it could be real, credible people, or it could even be cyber troopers playing their part and such. So all these things actually can create a lot of impact. But I think one of the key roles and responsibilities that we have as a media practitioner is, especially during crisis or emergency, if we take COVID for an example, you know, how do we then disseminate information or messages and guide public, help them with their decision making, warnings, safety precautions, influencing on how people respond. I think this last 3-4 years has been quite crucial for media practitioner and in terms of messaging and communicating.
Thank thank you, Seelan. Yes, that's true. Like a lot of these contents, I've been seeing like watching when you watch news on TV, either good news or bad news, it makes people glued to TV and change their life a little bit, maybe for a few days or maybe for a week, because they just want to find out what's going on, and it really change their mind perception about something when they keep watching the same news over and over again. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the yeah, powerful influence of media, really powerful. Like, and
And
a lot of people refuse to accept that actually.
and more importantly now, Dr. Rabiah, is because we have the fake news syndrome. So people see a lot
Yeah.
of things on social. It's been circulated via WhatsApp, Telegram, and such. So it comes to a point where public are not sure whether that particular news is true or not. So they tend to go back to a more credible source of information, which
Yeah.
traditionally is media, to see whether it's true or not.
It's true
So
or not.
I think a very good example would be something that has been happening in UK, where fake social news created unrest in public, therefore creating riots and such. Hence, that's a good example on what we need to avoid and make sure that we always look back at a credible source of information.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. It's very dangerous. All this fake news all over the media, because we can't really tell whether they're true, they're from the correct sources or not.
Yeah.
So we go back to the health related message. I'm throwing this question to Mr. Jovian. So just now you did a little bit of presentation on Wyatt, and you talked a bit about Petronas. So and then you have dealt with both different kind of products, like the other products, and also like health related messages or products. It doesn't have to be products. It can be just messages like the Wyatt messages, the crisis just now. So when it comes to the crafting these health related messages or content, when compared to the other type of product or services or ideas or messages, so is there any difference in terms of the strategies about the content or about the crafting of the message? And what are the challenges that you face when you try to convey health messages to the audience? Because it's a little bit different or maybe not different. Um, I don't know. You know more than me. And then if there is any challenges, was it tough?
Okay. We in reality we use at least I use this particular what do you call that? I wouldn't call it a formula. It's a briefing format. I use this briefing format where we identify what we want the advertising to do, who is our target audience, and the key word here is insights into the target audience. So this is the brief that I use for all products. It doesn't matter whether it's a washing powder or a car or toilet paper or infant formula or teaching people how to check themselves for cancer or how to breastfeed, and reassuring mothers on about their pregnancy. So different things, but these might be different things, but I essentially zoom in on the insights about the target audience, what they like. So I give you an example. You all can see the screen, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's say, for example, people when people are in clinics, they are waiting for the doctor. Let's say you're pregnant, you're waiting for the doctor. What you would do is you would read whatever's on the wall while you're waiting for the doctor. So that's an insight into the consumer behavior when they're at the clinics. So let's say in this case, it's like reassuring mothers or entertaining mothers, giving them knowledge about your brand. One thing is when you give people knowledge about pregnancy, your brand actually goes up in stature because then they start to trust you more. They trust your brand. So in this case, this is an example of what a man goes through during pregnancy. Because there's this case of sympathetic pregnancy. And then when women read about it, it's like, then it's a conversation starter about pregnancy. And then another example would be, let's say, when women are breastfeeding, they have all sorts of worries. So the insight is that some women feel like, oh, am I giving my child enough milk? Am I producing enough? And then they worry about all sorts of things. So this is one of the assurances about breastfeeding, that you naturally produce what your child needs. And so which cups contain more milk. So when crafting these messages, these are put up in clinics. And when you put them up in clinics, you have a captive audience. People read it.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So
Because they don't know what to do over there.
they don't know what to do, but also they are more receptive because they are in a clinic. They are more receptive. They are there to see a doctor, and they want to know about. They're in the mindset that I'm here to see a doctor. I need information about my child or my pregnancy or my breastfeeding problems. So the medium in this sense, it would be the clinic and posters. So all these things are taken into consideration, and we usually work as a team with, let's say, we would also work with doctors to ask them like what are their common, because we have friends who are doctors, and they'll tell us like what are the top few worries about mothers. And nowadays you can sort of like do some social listening and find out worries, and then we get our insights from there as well. From
Yes,
talking to
that's
people.
true.
Yeah. So like for example, S26 was famous for causing constipation. That was the perception that was going around, you see. So and this poster was done to address the worry about constipation. So it doesn't show like
Oh, yeah.
any berak
can-
kind of thing, but what it shows
Yeah, I can see
is
that.
just an interesting visual of a bottle upside down being plugged up. So you are in a clinic. Imagine you're in a clinic, you see this, and then what's this? Then you read, oh, it's about constipation, and you get some information about constipation. So there
Yeah.
are nicer ways, more artful and beautiful ways of talking about constipation. Yeah. So
How
this is
how about the restrictions in conveying messages about related to health messages?
okay.
Yeah, like all the
Restriction.
regulations and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You can see the slide, right? This is the ethics of
Yes.
from Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. So they have
Mm,
ethics for produk susu formula bayi. They have ethics for makanan kanak-kanak. So for example,
yeah.
in this one, they regularly update it, you see, as the world progresses. Say for
Mm,
like
mm,
this panduan from Kementerian Kesihatan, I just noticed this just now, that now they don't allow you to use the word goal or logos that say you are A plus or thumbs up or a gold standard.
mm, mm,
So these are among the regulations that KKM uses to control false advertising and
mm.
influencing people in unwarranted ways. So
Yeah. Mm,
it's important for clients to know this as well, because if they're caught flouting these regulations, their trading license can be taken away, and overnight all their products have to be removed from the shelves. And that's very,
mm.
if you're a client, that's very dangerous, because if your products are removed from the shelves, mothers who are looking for the milk to buy can't find it. What they do is they will switch brands.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if the
Yeah.
child switches brands and the child is okay with the new
Get
brand,
used to it.
they won't
Mm,
switch back, because mothers don't want
mm.
any trouble with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
these are
true.
the marketing things that we need to be aware of. Aside from
Mm.
the ethics of it, we have to keep very strictly to the ethics of Kementerian Kesihatan, because they are there to safeguard consumers.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So there's a few of the challenges when it comes to crafting messages, delivering messages in regards to health product or health ideas and all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Thank you, Jovian. So,
Okay.
Mr. Alif, Alif, are you around? You're
Yeah,
here.
can you hear me? Yeah,
Yes, yes. So you are in public relations field, so it's slightly
yeah,
different game. So you don't just deal with regulations, but you also deal with many stakeholders. So in
yeah,
for advertisers, they deal with the client and also the audiences, the consumers.
yeah,
But for you, you deal with a lot more stakeholders. That includes I don't know, maybe the suppliers, maybe the employees, and
yeah,
media and everything. So not just the client and the public that the client targets. And you have done campaigns for various types of products, services
yeah.
for numerous industries as well. Is there any different when you work on health related campaigns or programs or products from healthcare industries, such as from hospital or pharmaceutical companies? And is there any specific strategies, communication strategies, when it comes to health messages or products or ideas?
Yeah, for me, because I stepped in this industry following the hospitalization field, because at first I was doing brands like fashion brands, and then when I was approached by new clients such as the hospital side and then the pharmaceutical side, so I had to learn a lot of things along the way. So for example, the understanding of the audience, and also to learn about like what Jovian said, the regulatory considerations for all the products that I'm about to help them campaign it out, because some pharmaceutical products, I have to highlight to them that all the side effects they have to say it, not just because it's beneficial for you. And then if you don't put a disclaimer that it's going to be a problem for the media side and from my side as well. So, and then the message framing, for example, what I usually do is like, I think it's been highlighted by Jovian as well, that the personal story, the brand, because I've always asked my clients and all the suppliers to do like a short podcast about weekly episodes of podcasts stating about the benefits of not the product, but more towards what is the problem solving thing that the product is doing. Like for example, if it reduces the blood pressure, rather than saying that the product is reducing blood pressure, I usually ask them to talk about the stress at work, and then it leads up to that benefit of the product by using it. So there's a lot of way, but for me, I will look on how to help out with the current generation, because I feel like the attention span for some people when they look at healthcare products, they just tend to swipe up and it's okay, right? So I will focus more on like doing skits, like not relatable to health, but along the way oh, okay, it's actually for this. Like you see a lot of ads nowadays that are doing that. So that's my strategy on helping out. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So, it's a little bit different when it
Yeah.
comes to targeting young adults compared to adults in the 30s to the 50s. We are those who are in the 40s, 50s. We tend to really pay attention to all these health-related messages because we are really concerned about our health.
Mhm.
Not that the young people are not concerned, but they have other priority, I guess. Okay, so the media and communication industry has been dealing with health-related content and messages for a while, so it's been there all this while actually. Um, the specific area of health communication is actually pretty new here, but in the US, it's been there for a few decades. It's not that we don't do that, but indirectly, we are not really doing it. Directly, we are not really doing it yet, so we're just doing it indirectly. I've read some numbers and make summaries of them. For example, the statistics of mortality rate of non-communicable disease, like heart disease or cancer, they have known to be lifestyle disease, and they have gotten so much better in the US and some parts of the Europe. And this is from my readings that I did during my PhD dissertation. I have to compare different country statistics and find out try to summarize what's causing all these different statistics. And the death due to heart disease in US has been dropping, but in Malaysia we keep increasing every year. So I'm not sure why, but there's some things that you can point the difference between us and theirs over there. So I think it's very important for health communication to be really paid attention to here in Malaysia. So, and yes, we do have media and communication programs for students, for new students to learn, but it's also important to for them to have more knowledge, so we can send in better. It's not that you're not doing good job, but more messages and get more people to know how to do this, craft messages or work with health product or health messages. So in line with the new vision, IMU University, which has been always known with medical. So IMU University has a new vision, One Health, that means that unites human, animal, and environment into cohesive, integrated approach. So not just medical for human now. And IMU University recently introduced a new program, which is the program that we are launching soon, a Bachelor of Communication with Health, where we have so through this Bachelor of Communication with Health, Bachelor of Communication with Health. So we have communication major and also minor in health. So we have a little bit of knowledge about health that the students can obtain and can use when they deal with health related messages in the future, actually. Okay, so we'll go to the next, Mr. Alif again. You dealt a lot with the health messages apparently, so I think you'll be the right person to answer these kind of questions. So, what are the challenges that you usually face when you deal with these projects? Health products, health services, or maybe just the message, because it can also be from corporations, from industry that is not health related, but they just want to do a health campaigns as a part of CSR, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So, and do you also deal with fake information as a part of the challenge?
Yeah,
So, for
100%.
example, yeah, so example like
Yeah.
the fake information like vaccination, it may hinder
Yeah.
vaccination campaign from achieving their objective to increase inoculation, right? So how do you overcome this kind of challenges in your work?
Yeah, because when I dealt with the client's account to do the campaign, one of the most things that we face is the backlash of some stuff, and then the misinterpretation of all the posters that we put out for the client. and then it tends to someone to just copy it, and then they will change the wording, and then they will start sharing it online. So because it is in the internet, we can do everything like that now. So there's no credibility out there. So what I do based on the challenges that I face is that I will have a few account managers to actually really focus on that particular client campaign. So there's like this 24 hours usually that they have to always vet through the social media and to make sure that everything that's posted doesn't get circulated in the wrong way. Because as soon as we see something that's wrong with it, then we will really like make it turn around after in 24 hours. Then also like one of the other challenges that I face is that because usually when the brief is out, the client's information about the health that they are trying to portray, it's really long. I mean, if you want to go in details about the medical terms and everything, it's very lengthy. So for my organization to simplify it in a way, that is the challenging part, like to make the audience understand like what we are trying to get out of it. So usually that requires a long period to understand and to make it as simple as like one line, so that it's strong enough to get the audience attention to, you know, that. Yeah. And then the last one would be the audience segmentation of like which target audience that we are focusing on, like the age group, and then the gender, and then all this we have to come and play. We have to do our fact checks and everything. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. So yes, that's true. Medical terms and jargon. So
Yeah.
normal people, public usually do not understand, and people usually have this mental block when they see all these medical terms, because we are not health science people. We are not medical people, so we tend to just like look away when we see all these medical terms. And for somebody from not from medical, it is a bit hard for us to really study and understand what everything is all about. So it will take a while. So when you convey the message, when you craft the message, you have to make it in a way that the people understand what it is all about in layman's words, instead of like putting all these um, medical terms. Yeah, when I was doing my PhD reading, it took me 1 year to really understand and able to um, easily read all the information after that, because I need 1 year to understand the whole thing. Then only I can read all these medical papers after that. So that comes to the reason why this program that we are doing is actually good, because we get the students to start from the first year until the third year in their program to start familiarizing themselves with health, with all these terms. So it will be easier when they go into the industry and they work in PR or in advertising, corporate com, and when they deal with this kind of messages, this kind of challenges, it won't take them long to actually come up with something, because they understand the messages they understand all these jargons. I'm not saying that it's easy to understand, but it will take shorter time for them to overcome the challenge to try to understand, compared to not being familiar with this whole thing at all. Okay, thank you for that. Mr. Jovian, I want to know about your challenges. How do you counter this kind of challenges, the one that Alif mentioned earlier? For example, the usage of medical terms and jargons, and then your audience may not understand all these jargons. So how do you counter these challenges to achieve the objective? Yeah, and then you want to change people's mindset. Like, you can't use all these jargons or medical terms. So how do you deal with this? Jovian, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Okay.
As I was explaining, let's say when the dioxin crisis happened, we are flooded with information like this: the Belgian dioxin crisis, effects on agricultural products, and then we get articles from all these journals coming in, and I have to admit, like, we are supposed to, because it's a crisis, we have to do it, and we have to read this up within like a day, you see, and we're not doctors, so how we usually deal with it is, because it's a crisis and it's needed immediately, we will speak to subject matter experts lah. Then they'll simplify it for us. Some doctors are incredibly good at simplifying things for us, so that we can translate it into layman's language. So like perinatal exposure to dioxins, infant growth, body mass index, all that.
Oh yeah.
And then we translate it into something like this. A hug at 5 can still be felt at 50, or from the people who started whatever. So what we do is an assurance campaign. So it assures people about what they are using, rather than like give them scary details which they cannot understand and they just get scared, and it would be detrimental to your brand.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
and the way how I handle it is also to simplify it. If you notice the this one, it's very simple. So instead of using the word objective, we just say, what do we want the advertising to do? And then instead of saying target audience, we always say, who are we talking to? And then what insights do we have about them? So let's say this is, for example, what do we want the advertising to do? Assure mothers that S26 is a premium brand, a premium and safe brand in the case of the dioxin scare. So we don't say that, oh, don't take us because we don't have dioxin, because then your brand will be associated with dioxin, even though you're actually doing that. But the fact that you are reassuring people, the mothers automatically know, okay, you are coming up with a statement that you're reliable, already says that you are non-dioxin. So, and then who are we talking to? Mothers. And insights is that they love to see cute babies, and they crave for information. So I can pass this basic structure to you. It simplifies things a lot for me lah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That would be great.
yeah, when I teach, also I teach my students to simplify things, because simplification is the most difficult thing. It takes a lot to sort of like digest it, and when you speak to, I find that doctors are incredible because they can simplify it for you so well. I suppose maybe they have the experience of speaking to uncles and aunties who need their illnesses or the medications simplified and explained to them, so they know how to speak to people like us.
Yes. Yeah.
So
There
doctors
are programs, such programs for doctors actually. Yeah. Just like here.
they are incredible in simplifying things for us.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jovian.
Thank you.
I want to throw the next question to Mr. Seelan, and he's been quiet for a bit.
I'm here.
So yeah, you have been pretty active in social media or digital communication. I noticed that, and NTV7 and Media Prima Radio have also been actively integrating digital communication with your traditional radio and television network. Like it is needed. It was needed when it comes to healthcare communication. Like what role can digital communication actually play, and how do you think healthcare professionals or organizations can leverage this social media or digital communication platform to improve society's health?
I think it's super important, especially nowadays. I think both Jovian and Alif has covered a bit about digital. I think most important thing is about information, especially in healthcare. How fast, or how rapid, or how widespread can you update information and news which is credible and accurate? Because this will help combat misinfo, especially now with a lot of fake news and a lot of misinformation that's happening in social. So that's one. Two would be with regards to education and engagement. This is an opportunity where previously with traditional medium it's just one way. But with social, that's two-way. With digital, it's two-way. So it's an accessible platform for everybody, and we can use that to educate public, and we can also create engagement through interactive content. Third is something that I truly believe in, is about community building. What I would say is like digital community. So how can we facilitate a creation of a digital community where you can put the right information, because like Jovian said, then you will know this is that particular audience that is coming there for that particular content. And it's an opportunity where we can showcase support for each other, especially when if it's with regards to healthcare. For instance, it could be those who are affected by kidney. So it could be a digital community for
Yes.
patients of who are suffering from kidney illness and such. So it'll be content that speaks to them, a community that engages them. That so you have an opportunity to build a safe space for this particular community. And lastly, I think with digital, there's a lot of opportunity for data collection and analysis, where with all this data, you can then further improve your engagement and such. I think both Jovian and Alif spoke about social listening. So those are the kind of data that will help you evaluate how your communication has been, whether it has been good, not good, whether there's negative, how can you then counter that particular communication and such. And lastly, I think something that has been happening in the past 18 months, or popular word that has been spoken about, is AI. How do you embed AI
Uh,
in terms of your process, your work, and such, and use it in terms of creating the best communication, best content, and such. I think all these 5 key elements will be quite key for those who are in healthcare in terms of communication and content.
Yes, I agree. It's very important for everybody, all industries or organizations, to get on this bandwagon to start going on the digital communication, including the AI assisted tool. And so in our new program here, the Bachelor of Communication with Health, we also embed digital communication designs and social media listening, data analytics. We have that as well, because we know that's the trend. That's what needed in the industry right now. So we want to ensure that our graduates are well prepared when they face the media and communication world, so that all three of you have been there, have been, and are currently going through. So, Mr. Alif, you're the youngest among the three here. Definitely younger than me. I'm very sure your work involved a lot more of these digital communication tools. So,
Yeah.
how can we, as individuals or organization, actually leverage this tool to deliver messages out there? Um, from your experience dealing with your projects, for example.
Understand.
So I have Facebook and Instagram, but that doesn't mean I can make the other person go to the hospital to do a mammogram check, for example, when I have done mine. So how do you use this tool to leverage this tool to
All
change
right.
people's opinion, for example?
Yeah, my way, because social media is a very powerful thing nowadays, because everything, all the news you can see around the world, it's there. You can just believe your phone sometimes, you know what I mean? But like for example, like what you said, you mentioned how you want to persuade someone to check to do the mammogram and all. So for me, like it goes there again. It goes what Jovian said, the personal story. For me, I really go towards the storytelling, and then with that storytelling, I will develop like a few like for example, a long campaign. There will be a bit of storytelling, like real evidence based on what the person is going through, but at the same time there will be like a very light advertisement about, not about that, but it's just about like all the side effects of, having, if it's too late, like prevention is better than cure, all the small little details that make sure that people are, okay, you know what is this ad going about? And then towards the end, like visit us at this clinic to get yourself checked, because you don't want to be that person kind of thing. So that will help, because nowadays I feel like all the influencers, they use their platform in a, I can say, in a wrong way. They forgot that all these young kids now, they actually we can promote more self-awareness towards, we don't want it to be too late towards the end, and then you're like, oh, okay, I have to go check now, and then it's going to be a problem, right? So what we can do now, I'm trying to build a community, what I told my clients as well, is that let's target the young ones so that they can ask their parents or get themselves checked, because nowadays age doesn't matter. Like even the young ones can get sick, right? So it's very dangerous as well. So like also what Seelan said, like the whole community of like having someone to talk to, like a forum, like where people are just there sharing their problems, and then this would really help, because I've done that as well. I've done one platform for a client that, for example, kidneys and all, like blood pressure or the heart disease, they have a community where they can talk about it like weekly. So that makes them feel safe and somehow give them hope to survive, you know? So that's very important, that I feel that everyone should share and then should really highlight towards their social media, like, you know, because you never know. So my way is that advertisement goes a long way. All these TikTok ads, you can see all the skits that they do, and then sometimes you be like, oh, it's a brand for this lotion, or is because of this. So I like that kind of feeling, that when people watch, they're like, oh, it's actually for this. Yeah, rather than it straight away go click this, we provide this service, and end up, yeah,
Yes, 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 that's
yeah,
true. Yeah, yeah. I also hate advertisements, so
yeah,
that's why I don't really watch YouTube's. I
yeah,
only watch Netflix. No advertisements. Yeah. So so the selection of the right digital tool is also important. Like
important,
which
yeah.
platform, yeah, which the targeted audience, which platform they're using, whether they're using TikTok or anywhere. Okay. So, so from this discussion, I can see that it is important for um, practitioners to have the knowledge of media planning, for example, to plan which media to select, for example, and also to have the knowledge in related to analytics, digital communication, social media listening, and the general communication. Um, um, Public relations. Okay, so but we have all this covered in our Bachelor of Communication with Health program actually, and then so our program is interdisciplinary, as I explained before. That is a communication major, and we also have health minor, which is I can say it's the first in Malaysia. We don't have a interdisciplinary program of communication with health yet here. So this is the first. This is what IMU is offering. So among the areas, it include risk communication, crisis management, health marketing, health journalism, media relations, digital media technology, campaign development, evaluation. So basically, it's strategic communication for health related messages or ideas. So that's what we are doing. But the graduates from our program can also um, work in general media and communication industry. It's just that they will have a little bit extra edge when it comes to health related ideas, messages, or products or services. They will have a little bit of extra knowledge on this. So this is what we are trying to cover, the gap that we are trying to cover actually. Um, so we have also strong industry linkages. So we have signed graduate training programs. So our graduates, before they graduate, they can go and do their internship. It's a 6 months internship that we are offering. So with this few local and MNC multinational company. And oh yeah, we also have one of our speaker here today, Mr. Seelan Paul, as our industry advisory board, actually. And other than
Thank
that,
you.
so we hope that we appreciate Mr. Seelan Paul. We know that he will be able to keep us updated and keep us at par with the current trend or the needs of the industry. That is very important for our graduates and also for us actually. And at the same time, we are in the pipeline. We have a few international university partners agreement in the pipeline. I'm not able to share it here because we haven't really penned it down yet, but they are in the pipeline really soon. So y'all can also reach out to IMU if you want to know more information about our program, Bachelor Communication with Health, or any other program as well. You can reach us out at Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or also LinkedIn. Just type in IMU University and you'll reach us. So just now somebody asked about scholarship. I see in the chat here somebody asked about scholarship. So we actually have a really good news. So this year is the first year that IMU University is offering programs of social science in aligning with its One Health direction. So we have 50% to 100% guaranteed scholarships actually through Global Leadership Scholarship to all students who enroll into Bachelor of Communication with Health program only for October 2024 intake. So I actually was surprised when I heard this. Like I checked with the management a few times. Like, is it sure? Can I recheck again? Can I double confirm again? Because I don't think this has ever happened. So whoever who get to enroll into this program with minimum entry requirement that we have set for October 2024, you will have 50% waiver of tuition fees through our scholarship program, Global Leadership Scholarship. But if you have a better result, a really good result that meet our terms and conditions for 100% scholarship, you may be able to try. So you can give it a try. And yes, of course, you have to maintain your CGPA every semester throughout this study here. Yep. To maintain this scholarship. So that's the catch. Yeah, so our program is very similar actually with the other communication program out there, mass communication program. So this program also produce graduates for media and communication field. The only thing we are different is we have an edge of knowledge in terms of communicating health messages or promoting health product or services also. And a lot of, so as mentioned earlier, we are interdisciplinary program. So okay, so if you want to know more about this, you can contact us or best physical face-to-face. You can come to our open day happening this weekend on Sunday, 18 August 2024. It's at IMU Bukit Jalil campus. If you're not driving, if you think it will be hard to get parking, you can just also take LRT to Sri Petaling. Sri Petaling is just right behind our building. So it's very near. It's easy. You don't need to worry about driving, getting parking, and so or get trapped in the traffic jam. Or the other ways to get information, you can also scan this for information. Okay, and you get information about the open day. All right. You can also browse through the website and get more information about our program, Bachelor of Communication with Health. So there are a lot of highlights, a lot of things going on. We have a TikTok video workshop. If some of you want to get more information about how to create a really good, engaging TikTok content, okay, and a lot of scholarships for other programs. And we also have our industry partners coming on that open day, opening their booth. We can also connect and ask more information. Maybe you can find out whether this program is a good program that they really look forward to get students or interns working with them, right? So these are other lists of scholarships that IMU is offering, not just for communication with health, but we also have for foundations in arts, business admin with healthcare, and communication with health. And also, yes, the other inaugural bursary for another new program other than communication with health, which is bioveterinary science, starting in October as well, just like our new program, communication with health. Okay. Yep. So I really hope that our new program here by MU, Bachelor of Communication with Health, with this new program, we can have more media and communication practitioners, especially those with have knowledge, were knowledgeable in communicating health contexts, health ideas or messages. Okay. And yeah, it's already 9:11. We have already come to the end of this webinar. So a bunch of thank you to all our panel of speakers today. Mr. Seelan Paul, Mr. Jovian Lee, and Mr. Alif Aizad. We really appreciate your participants and insights for today's webinar. There's a really good sharing from your experience and from your knowledge. So thank you everybody else who have joined us this evening as well. We really look forward to collaborating with each one of you again, Mr. Seelan Paul, Mr. Jovian Lee, and Mr. Alif Aizad. Maybe we can collaborate in terms of programs or activities with the students after this. And we also look forward to seeing everyone at IMU University's Open Day this coming Sunday on the 18th of August at IMU University, Bukit Jalil. I hope I've answered one question also. I saw one question about the scholarship. So I've explained a little bit about scholarship here, right? Okay, thank you. And I hope we'll see everyone again, maybe for the next program. Thank you, Alif. Thank you, Mr. Seelan. Thank you, Jovi. Do you guys have anything to say to the audience out there?
Thank you,
Anything to
Dr.
shout?
Rabiah. Thank you for having me here. Those who are watching, I think this is a good opportunity, especially for aspiring students in communication focusing on health. This is a good opportunity for you to leverage on.
Thank you, Seelan. Alif, you have anything to say, or
Yeah,
Jovian?
first and foremost, thank you so much, Dr. Rabiah, for the invite, and also thank you, Ms. Seelan, Jovian. It was good to be alongside you guys, and for everyone here, like I feel that this is a good opportunity to have to study here as well. I think you guys are very open-handed and very friendly, and as well. But I wish that you guys keep up with this webinar. It's really nice. Different topics every maybe week. I don't know how long you guys do it. But yeah, it's very interesting.
Wow, every week.
But it's very interesting. Yeah, I love all these webinar podcasts and all. So I hope like this keeps up, and I wish all the best to everyone here. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rabiah. Everybody in IMU. Thanks, Chow Yong.